This is the Conscious Hour. This is really a great interview. He was raided in England, but he's been reporting an Electronic Intifada is the website they use, and they're excellent. They do actual reporting of what's going on. So they raided his house, and they didn't arrest him, but they took all his files and stuff. And now he's, could be threatened with prison terms, talking about cracking down on people exposing the truth. But listen to this next part. It's shocking. Remember AIPAC, 93% is being paid in Congress from AIPAC. So, 93% of them get money. Keep fighting.
In many ways, Israel is actually a liability for the US empire, in my view, because it's you can look at the Edward Snowden disclosures as well. What's often forgotten about that is one of the things that were disclosed when Edward Snowden did his massive leak, NSA leak. What was confirmed in that, and we know it since then as well, was that Israel is viewed as one of the top intelligence threats by US counterintelligence agencies. Israel is viewed as really one of the biggest spy threats. They put it up there with official enemies such as Venezuela, Iran, and China. Well, isn't Israel the greatest ally of the United States, supposedly? So I think it's far more complicated than that. There's no doubt that the United States exerts a massive degree of control over Israel. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it doesn't choose to exercise that control in terms of restraining it, because it does want to unleash it against anyone who resists US empire. There's no doubt about that. And there's no doubt that Joe Biden, if he were, fully compass mentis, which I have my doubts about, he could make one phone call today and stop the bombs being shipped to Haifa and Tel Aviv and wherever else, and the genocide would have to stop. There's no doubt about that. But I also do think the Israel lobby has a massive amount of control. What I can say about Britain specifically is I think that Britain is, viewed as a client state of the United States. That is true, but I do also think that there's kind of a hierarchy now where Israel is really above Britain in that hierarchy. Certainly, there is a good degree of evidence of a massive amount of infiltration of the British security state by Israel, by Israeli agencies, by Israeli proxies, by the pro-Israel lobby. And a lot of this is very, very opaque. The Israel lobby is really dominant.
So let's talk about the Israel lobby and listen to what he said. The amount of money that's being paid to influence our government. So think of it this way. The Zionists are the original bankers, and now they're taking final control. And Israel has always been this, call it a rogue state, a state that's over there that had a lot of power, that actually was having nuclear weapons back in the late 60s. So, but people don't talk about that. And now we have this crisis where they control 93% of Congress. And Joe Biden and Kamala, the vice president, who's acting as president, who knows what her official role is. She's vice president, but I've never seen her do anything that was worthwhile. We're in a real quandary here. What's going to happen?
It's British political life in a way that is completely uncomparable to any other lobby. So, I try and report on a lot of that in my book, and I think a lot of these things are still open questions, and I think there's a lot more we'll discover in years to come.
That power that the US and UK and junior collaborators of the empire have given Israel, and then it's kind of become this runaway train, the lobbying as an extension of that power that it's accumulated, that it now, turns and is lobbying to undermine the First Amendment rights of Americans across the country. And so you do see that kind of paradox where it's just like, what is going on here? That we've emboldened the lobby to such an extent that now it's actually undermining our fundamental constitutional rights, and our legislatures are this happen.
The United States, the European countries especially, are really dismantling their own institutions, the remaining potentially democratic institutions, and universities and so forth. All the right to free speech are being dismantled, all to protect Israel.
we are just living in just the most bizarre timeline, and it's just the most horrifying one as well. Asa, and the 170 journalists that have been killed, more journalists have been targeted for assassination. It was amazing to see the outpouring of support worldwide for the raid that happened on you, for what's going on. And Asa, I mean, this is the time that we all need to get each other's backs, because the more noise that we can make about these horrific measures to criminalize and crack down on journalism and dissent, the better it will be for us. And we have to stand in solidarity with each other, especially at this moment. Keep doing incredible work. And what's next for you? I mean, this isn't going to shut you up.
No, I mean, I think now the main response I've had from people supporting us is, what can I do? What I've been saying is, we at the moment we're good. We may need to, it's possible in the future we may need to fundraise to cover legal costs. That remains to be seen. If and when that time comes, we will announce it on the Electronic Intifada and my social media and so forth. But meanwhile, the main thing people can do to help me is to stop the genocide in Gaza. And I mean that literally. I'm not making some abstract point here. Like, if there was a ceasefire tomorrow, it would definitely mean the political pressure within Britain would lessen for these kind of raids to continue. So I don't have the answers. We're all banging our heads against the wall. This is it's the Holocaust of our time. That's what I said to the police on the night. This is the Holocaust of our time. I don't know how to stop it, but we have to stop it.
So how do we stop it in the United States? It's real simple. Vote out the Democrats and the Republicans. That's the only thing you can do. Vote them out. We don't need them. Put new people in there. Break the control. 93% of them are paid off. So how do you get rid of the bribery? You vote them out. And they can become regular citizens and get a job someplace, but they don't need to, because they've got so much wealth from being a senator or a congressman. Oh my God, just think of how much money they have. Money's not the issue, but the power is gone, and that's what we need to do, is depower these homicidal, genocidal, nasty people who only think about money and winning the game of Monopoly.
Well, look what they're doing in Britain. They're going in and raiding your house if you're a journalist and confiscating everything you have. Freedom of the press? You know what they do in America? They just don't report on anything. The reason why they went after him is because he's Electronic Intifada. And you need to check Electronic Intifada out. Why? Because they tell you what's going on in the world. It's not just canned from NBC, ABC, and Fox and all the normal ones that don't even mention the word genocide. So it's time, folks, to vote these people out. The Democrats and Republicans, 93% of them are being paid off to keep their mouth shut, while tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, when they're done with this, more than probably 400,000 people will be dead if it doesn't turn into a nuclear war.